Hey, what's up, everyone? Hello, and welcome to a brand new episode of Heliopsychosis podcast. This is your host, Vikka Draziv. Guys, welcome to the show. And yes, if you're first time here, hit that like and subscribe button. And yes, what an awesome show and guest we have today. But before we jump into that, I just want to give a quick shout out to some things in the description. You can, apart from the link of our amazing guest, we have also the link of Gene for coffee and my link too. And apart from that, you guys also have that water copper bottle by Vikka Draziv. If anybody wants to get that electrical water and charged water, right? So you have the link right there too. And where is Gene? Where is my brother Gene? My brother Gene is on a travel with some family things. All I could say that we are gonna send a lot of love and energy and light for him, and soon he's going to be back with us on Heliopsychosis podcast as our co-host all the way from New York. So, brother Gene, that's for you. And yes, the guest of today, what could I say? These guys, I was on their podcast maybe a month or two ago. Amazing conversation, amazing stuff. The time just flew by, right? So, and we made it like that. These guys are going to be here too. But the best part was they have an amazing talk show podcast, and they invited me as the 100th episode guest. And for me, that was an amazing honor to be on their show as the 100th episode. I really loved it. And I really, really appreciate these brothers here today on my podcast, Heliopsychosis. So without further ado, get comfortable, guys. Take whatever you want, coffee, split, whatever makes you comfortable, because we are in for an amazing chat with these brothers here from all the way from Iowa. TP, Theo, how are you, my brothers? And welcome to Heliopsychosis podcast.
We're doing well. We're doing well. Thanks for having us on. This is an honor. I think this is our first time live as well, so slightly nerve-wracking.
Yeah, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. And like Vika said, yeah, dude, our 100th episode was a banger, and we were so happy that you came on and brought the fire, man, brought the thunder. It was awesome, and we've been excited about this chat for a while here.
Oh yeah, brother, the pleasure was mine, right? So absolutely. So we're gonna be jumping in with TP. We'll go with you first. I know the topics you guys are doing. You guys are for sure awake from really, really long time, right? So tell us about your journey about conspiracy and the awakening, and then later about True Earth, right?
Yeah, thank you. So I really didn't start waking up until it was around 2012, and I was active duty Marine Corps at the time, and some guys I had looked up to were talking about how 9/11 was like an inside job. I'm like, you guys are, oh yeah, sorry, we can't say that on YouTube, can we? But anyway, I started looking down that route, and that um, really threw me for a loop. And then it was all over from there. I just started going down rabbit holes and started realizing like all this stuff that basically my whole life was a lie. Our history was a lie. What we were all taught in school in American schools was a lie, and all this stuff. So eventually that led into, it was around 2017, 2018, I think, is when I started looking into the True Earth angle, right? And yeah, it was mind blowing. But yeah, it definitely, I'm not quite, I don't know, I can't quite claim that I believe fully in the flat earth, or it's definitely not a globe. I don't believe in that, but I don't know what it is. All I know is that there's more questions than there are answers, and the stuff that they have given us as supposed truth is nothing but a lie. And it's great that we now have the ability to be able to talk to people from all over the world and try to figure out, what is the truth. right?
Yeah, that's been the biggest privilege that we've had. This is Theo here. Um, Mine happened just a little earlier, a few years earlier than TP's. In about 2006, 2007. The wars in Iraq and Afghanistan really, I just started to realize that something was terribly wrong. And I started to just question a whole lot. And I mean, I don't need to get into it too much, but I ended up getting interested in this particular congressman. I don't know if I should name him, but his last name is a first name, Paul. You should check him out, Ron Paul. But but he was a Republican and he was anti-war and he was talking about new concepts. I thought at the time new concepts, but they're actually age-old concepts of sound money and things that weren't actually allowed in regular discourse. The censorship was happening all the way back then, and I saw it then. But so I just started questioning absolutely everything. And to be honest with you, I spend about the least amount of my time concerning myself with the shape of where we live and whatnot. But I think that the conversation around the topic, particularly Vikka, your material, is incredibly entertaining. It's incredibly insightful. But I'm the most ignorant person here, if I'm just going to be honest about the subject. But what I will tell you is that from 2007 to now, anything is on the table for me because I know that the institutional explanations that we have been given our entire lives, they're bullshit, and they are deliberately manipulative and deceptive, meant to enslave our minds,
Absolutely, absolutely. I'll agree to that, brother, because they think we are too stupid. That's the problem, right? If they were a little bit more genius, like, make us feel not so stupid, it wouldn't be so obvious. These guys are making it so obvious. And I agree to that. Like, even 2007, the Gulf War, even before when the CNN started, right? We all know that what is going on, right? We don't have to be like really a genius to know that these people are screwing us everywhere in every we as a peasants, like they count everybody as peasants, right? Even without us it's not happening what the control is, right? For example, what TP was saying, like he was into army service, right? But do they really care about anybody, right?
It was
Because
the Marine Corps, not the Army. Sorry, just I had to correct
oh
that
yeah,
there.
sorry, yeah,
I'm
I
a
mean,
good brainwashed Marine, so
sorry, I don't get it exactly. Like, not like marine, like also with ships, and marine with or just like commercial. I didn't get it.
land, air, and sea. Yeah, they float around with the Navy and all that stuff, and then they
Exactly. So
also go on land.
yeah, go ahead. Right.
It's
So
an amphibious infantry force.
right. Yeah. So something you did sense there when you were doing your service, right? Some things might have said, oh, what's happening here, right?
Yeah, and really, what I started uncovering, it made me angry. You know what I mean? Like, wow, I wrote a blank check for this country for a whole lie, an absolute whole lie. Where were the weapons of mass destruction in Iraq? Where was Osama bin Laden's training camps in Afghanistan? Oh, and he ends up turning into getting, killed in Pakistan.
Yeah, all the time he was lugging around a dialysis machine.
Oh yeah,
Because he had renal disease as far back as 1999. So they had a pack mule with a dialysis machine on it or something.
yeah, Osama bin Laden. These are the lies that they told us and stuff. And like, when I started learning, and I was like, holy shit, man. This is why I have brothers buried in Arlington Cemetery for a lie, and that was a hard pill for me to swallow. But I got over it. you know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I have personally also friends, right? A lot of friends, like with these professions, right? And yeah, in reality, they're different. They're humans. They see the deception very clearly, right? So hope one day, like most of them see it and do something about it. Because I think, I don't know, as you mentioned, right, about flatten the curve. People like this who have dedicated their life and they came forward just for the truth, right? Because there is a belief that these people are at that category and level who can do that change because they see it from another perspective from the rest of us, right? Being in these corporations, in reality, it's corporations, right?
Vika, they believe that they are born predestined to rule and lord over the rest of us. And the truth is given to us through them, and we must submit to that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, guys, before we jump into more things, let's speak about Iowa Talk, guys. Show how it started. What was the catalyst?
Well, I guess TP's given me the mic. So in roughly 2012 or 2013, TP's service was wrapping up, and he was kind of moving back home, and we had caught up with each other, just in the neighborhood, if you will. And things always kind of surrounded some beer drinking. Well, we were the only ones that when we're drinking some beers, we liked talking about all these crazy and wild. People like to call them conspiracies, but like it's a charged word, right? Excuse me here, uh, but yeah, we're talking about all these crazy stories that we've been told, lies, narratives, propaganda, and we thought for years. We had mentioned it, like, hey, we should just start a podcast and we should do this. But of course, we didn't. But we didn't. Yeah, I mean, radio was.
We were looking at trying to radio at first.
Yeah, that would. I mean,
and they were just like, oh, this is way too much work and expensive, and to get on start your own radio show.
Yeah, and that actually lends to sort of our style and what we're trying to do. I don't know if we accomplish it at all, to be honest with you, but we put it anywhere from like an hour to 2 hours. We've done over that. Vika, I think on number 100 we went over 2 hours, I believe. But so we're trying to do like a talk radio format. Of course, we're trying to clean the language up a little bit more and whatnot. But we've always kind of wanted like an American AM talk radio perspective. Like sort of like Rush Limbaugh was the big guy. You'd love him or hate him. He revolutionized AM radio in the United States and got millions upon millions of people listening to it. So I always admired that, and that was kind of the angle that we tried going with. TP, you have anything to add there?
Yeah, and we basically got to the point because before, after we realized like how him and I were both on the same point about things, and both of us were seeking the truth, it got to a point where like we gotta start letting other people know about this. But it's hard to talk to people that do not want to hear this, right? They automatically think it's conspiracy theory, or certain things like there were no weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's an uncomfortable truth. And people, a lot of people, they don't want to take the red pill, so to speak. But So we, like I said, we had talked about doing the radio show. We're like, no, we can't do that. We gotta go to school, get licenses, all this fun stuff. We're like, well, let's just do a podcast. And we looked into that. We're like, okay, this is gonna be way easier. And then, boy, are we glad that we joined the podcast because the podcasting community is freaking awesome. I'm so glad that we started it and started linking up with people like you and all these other awesome guests we've had.
The people from around the world that we have had the opportunity to meet, such as yourself, Vika, and other friends that we've made in other parts of the world, we have every continent. We need to get somebody from South America, and we need to get somebody from Africa, and then we've got the world covered, thanks to people like you and other friends that we have.
Oh yeah, brother. This is the thing. People need to check out Iowa Talk Guys show. Uh, the link is there in the description. Also on YouTube, you can find them. But Spotify, any audio platform listening, you can find these guys, amazing guests as they are mentioning. And yeah, a whole lot of truth right there. Maybe something is for the people, something might be difficult to digest, but that's facing the truth, right? It's about looking into it, even when some things when it makes you uncomfortable, right? That's what it's all about. We had to relearn. We had to take out this indoctrination that we have been fed to us since we are kid, right? This all needs to go out so that the other things come in. The problem is that the people are afraid of the change. People are afraid to look into different perspective that doesn't match yourself, maybe of whatever personal belief. But the people need to see it on a higher level as a collective. Is it helping us? Right? So work like these guys. There's some harsh truth, guys. Really harsh truth.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. You
so,
still
yep.
there?
Yeah, I'm still here, guys.
Okay.
So, yeah, this is what I mean, right? The people need to open up more, and because everything is connected with the true earth, right?
Do
And
do
yeah,
you mind if I add something here, Vika?
go ahead.
All right, I appreciate it. So something that fascinates me to just an amazing degree is archaeology. All right, and the what we so over here in the U.S. what we learned in government schools has been a lie. There are there's evidence of civilization dating back over 1,000 years in uh, the Southwest United States. There's cliff dwellings everywhere. You can go out and you can find them. How did these there's mounds. Yeah, there's all sorts of uh, rock paintings that are available to view and whatnot that have lasted over the ages. We have places like Göbekli Tepe over in Turkey and Derinkuyu, the tunnel system that's underground from thousands upon thousands of years ago. And we didn't learn anything about this. What was happening? Why was this happening? What's going on with this? Something that we talked about on 100 when you came on our episode was I believe it was the Piri Reis maps. Go ahead, bro.
The Monte Urbano map and the Paradise map, right? Yeah, we are taking granted for these people because this whole history is supposed to be a lie. They have taught us what they want us to believe, right? As you mentioned, these amazing archaeologian sites, these things are built forever. Imagine the technology. These things are amazing. Here in Spain, it's like repellent, and people don't care about this. This also Tartarian style monasteries and cathedrals and crazy stuff, right? The other day I was in one. You get in there, man. This is amazing. This is like how it is standing the test of time without any reparation or like right or refurbishing or it's like a time machine. How was this possible to cut these stones, right? Even if you go in Asia, there are temples which took 150 years to build, from the rock starting into a rock from above to below. There are inverted pyramids built in stones and rocks. Like even today, we guys cannot do this. So what are they hiding from us in every aspect?
Yeah, India and all the South Pacific there, all through Cambodia and Thailand and stuff. Those Indonesia, those beautiful, beautiful towers, temples that they've built, like these ancients built. That most of them now the jungle's taken over, and monkeys are, those little chimpanzee or not chimpanzees, what are those cappuccino monkeys, right? Capucin. But yeah, it's crazy. We and they tell us nothing. They give us bogus stories, show us pictures of cartoons about how they think it happened, and then this is what you should believe.
Well, that and Lewis and Clark discovered the West for the United States. No, that didn't happen. I mean, directly before that, it was French territory. In fact, the place that we occupy right now, TP and Theo, was French territory prior to that. Hardly anybody knows that. And in fact, if you look at our flag, it's based off of the French flag. But no, it was actually around that time, if not prior. Native American chiefs had already sailed to Europe and been courted by European nobility. But even recent stuff like this, they don't teach us. And there's so much if you go back further. I mean, in Indonesia, on top of mountains, I believe it's like basalt mountains, which is volcanic hard rock. They have dug into the ground stories upon stories of structures and caverns and all we learned about were the Great Pyramids of Giza and how they were apparently meant as burial chambers. There was never a sarcophagus, but that's interesting.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And moving parts, stones made of moving parts, right? These places were like magical. People, these were built like that because they had those specific electromagnetic energies that are healing for us human beings. We could call them in a way portals, in right. That's why they were built there, right from the above to the sky to the ground below. These are those, we could call those the supposed ley lines in a way, which is supposed to be the flower of life. These are exact points where these special kind of energies were there, and that's why they spend so much time to make these things happen there, right? Amazing stuff. Yeah. And as you say, also the pyramid in itself is amazing. And they want us to, as you say, that they want us to believe that it's just a tomb. No, no, I have not been there. I have been to, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to ask, have you been to Africa then? Have you been to Morocco? I mean, if you're in Spain, you're awful close to, Morocco and Algeria and whatnot.
Oh, yeah. But I have not been. I didn't get the chance even to go to Pyrenees and all this stuff because there are also amazing line of sight of 380 miles, seeing a mountain top from a mountain top, right? It's supposed to be the longest line of sight. So yeah, there are places I haven't been, right? But seeing here what there is, I could imagine how could be the pyramids. They fed us a lot about pyramids, right? At least we know the basic things, what it is. We can try to analyze what it could be done, right? If they speak about these massive size of blocks to hold and have those cavities inside them, a lot of maths and engineering and technology would have required. And all these things comes from thousands of years before globe was not even an idea. The globe was maybe, if the globe is lucky, we could say 500 years old, right? But before that, all this technology, engineering, the astronomy that it holds, right, about the constellations and the North Pole aligned even today, speaks about the astronomy and cosmology they used to were built on. All these, as you mentioned, Gobekli Tepe, right? Pyramids, and how many things have to be underground that is already, we want to call it so-called floods. But maybe these floods are nothing but electromagnetic points where there are times it's underwater, and when there are times it's not underwater. That's why we might have a lot of pyramids and amazing structures below the sea and below the sand or the earth. It's quite possible, right? We want to take it in a, also in a more religious aspect of, oh, maybe it was the flood or one flood, or right. This also answers a question about why the tides are happening, because if we are in places like Hawaii, or there are places Maldives and Mauritius which are 3 meters above sea level and the tides don't happen, maybe these islands came into being because that electromagnetic energy was not so strong, or it's neutral there, right? Sorry guys, I just went on. You guys want to add something to that?
That's just very interesting. Maybe something to do with volcanic activity in the area too. I don't know. But yeah, no, I suppose that's possible. Anything's possible. Yeah, because there is a lot of evidence of things that have been buried. I mean, what the Great Pyramids themselves were underneath sand until what, the late 1800s?
No.
Huh? Yeah.
Were
Weren't they
weren't-
dug out?
No, they were. The Sphinx was mostly.
Oh, the Sphinx. Is that what I was thinking?
Yeah.
Thought the pyramids were dug out.
Anyway, um, yeah,
Yeah. I just wanted to say, going off of what you said, Vikka, though, the heliocentric model is relatively new in the age of mankind
a few hundred years old.
versus thousands of years of other models and stuff and whatnot. And yeah, going off what Theo said before too about finding new land and stuff, and how, and we're taught in our American history that we found all this great stuff and only Columbus found America, which he didn't. They've, once again, you've seen them. There's all these ancient maps going back to what, who knows how long, thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, showing the coast of America.
And Antarctica.
Oh yeah, and there are maps which cost thousands of dollars. Ancient maps, amazing stuff, right? Thousands of dollars, 40, 50, $100,000, ancient maps. So you guys do believe in extra lands or no?
I am actually, to be honest, not familiar with the concept. I'm just going to be honest with you.
And I only started, I guess, just learned it when we talked with David Weiss about lands beyond the ice. So if you want to enlighten us, man, please go ahead.
Yeah, because in flat Earth there are different concepts, right? We are the center with the North Pole, and everything is around is Antarctica as an ice, and there is very harsh temperature, right? This is what there are a lot of flat Earth community who thinks like that, and then there are people who think that there is no ice or ice wall, or there might be just a little bit of ice wall, and then there is extra lands, right? We speak about Admiral Byrd speaking about extra land, like the size of the continent of USA that was unexplored, right? So there are different concepts of being only ice and nothing above from that. That is our Earth with the globe, sorry, with the, how do you say, with the dome, and that's the limited area we are in, and that's the Earth, like, in a way. And there are people who think there is so much extra lands and civilizations that live beyond this so-called ice ring, right? And there are many books, there are many legends, there are many maps which shows more land, and that Antarctica not being just ice, right? Because even Flat Earth Society says that it's just the ice. And my take would be, because there are in Flat Earth community, there are people are having these two different opinions, right? And some are even like, they don't like if they have the different opinion like that, like just being an ice wall and closed system right there, or it's much more big and more lands that exist, possibilities of extra lands, right? So my take would also be that one of the greatest deception could be also to hide these extra lands, because being on a globe, doing a circumnavigation, you're going to come back to the same place. It's a prison planet, right? It's a prison planet for their mind, for the people's mind, for the masses, right? So the flat earth model with the ice ring and a dome with no extra land is also a prison planet of a mind, my take, right? People don't have to agree with me, but that's why I believe in extra land, because my research from the time I am in this, extra lands, fertile lands, more civilizations. We are a race plantation, slave plantation right here, limited to a very, very small space, right? My take.
Yeah, without already having, I mean, I already admitted I don't know much about uh, that subject, but what I did want to add was that it was only a matter of decades ago. What I do know is it was only a matter of decades ago that leading scientists and whatnot from universities all around the world, the best universities, they thought that Antarctica, with the exception of like penguins and leopard seals and shit, was a completely dead continent. There was no life there. And lo and behold, guess what we know? Just because people have went down there to take photographs and whatnot, and even Russian experiments on the like deep underwater lakes, right? That are just like teeming with microbes and whatnot because there's fresh water down there. Hundreds, perhaps thousands of feet down under the ice. It's just what I'm saying is that the explanation that we are given from mainstream sources does not suffice. It is not in any way adequate in explaining the situation.
Well, and I want to add too also that I feel I understand, yeah, where there might be more lands outside if this is the case. Maybe I guess there'd be multiple domes or whatever. But there's so much land now on the area that we're living at now that this whole overpopulation myth is a complete lie, in my personal opinion, because in reality, if you've flown anywhere, you can see just how much land is available that people can really, in all honesty, occupy, where they don't have to be standing on top of each other. I think there was a study done here for the U.S. that the entire population of the U.S. could fit in the state of Texas, square mileage, and like have a couple acres themselves if they were like put in a grid or whatever, just hypothetically, So I think that's like the overpopulation thing is just another lie to keep people in line, keep them from reproducing, having more kids, keep them from or have them continuing to get abortions and making sure they're getting rid of kids and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, it's a lot, a lot. They want to keep us, as you say, in line, in check, right? That we don't explore or go more beyond. But even like this, as we mentioned also, right? The nature is cruel. Once you step outside the civilized world and go with the nature and in the nature, that's real. That's real stuff. So the thing is that people don't want to go away from all this hustle bustle and being very close and right. The people don't want to do that. And as you say, it's true. A lot of land, a lot of resources, a lot of nature, right? For at least that what we all are there, we could have maybe three times more, and we would still be placed in this controlled area that they're designated to us, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like Canada and Alaska have just like ridiculous amounts of land that it's inhospitable. I mean, for most people it's inhospitable, but like I'm saying, there is land available, and look what they did with Israel when it was a desert, and they turned it into then Israel became like one of the leading exporters of live produce to the Mediterranean. They turned a desert area into a fertile land. So if they can do that there, they can do it anywhere, right?
Absolutely, because if we see the Sahara, right, the whole that patch of Egypt, Algeria, the Mediterranean, the southern part, the Sahara, right, it's on the Monte Urbano map, which is supposed to be maybe 300 or 400 years old. It's showing vegetation, it's showing lush, it's showing cities there, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So how is it happening? What is happening, right? In 300, 400 years, it's naturally turning into a desert, or it's done purposely, or is it just because it's near the equator, right? There are many other places which are near the equator, but that are not so dry or more
Like,
tropical.
yeah, well, Brazil is, and South America is very tropical on the equator, right?
Absolutely, and even the Asia, you cannot get more tropical
Yeah.
than that. Yeah,
Yeah, you could argue, and nobody will ever know, because they once again going back to the architecture, they've been finding like pyramids and stuff, ancient archaeology. They've been finding tons of pyramids and all this stuff in the Sahara, and they saw in those maps and everything. So, what if maybe there was a some type of massive super weapon that these ancients had? You know what I mean? And that I think that's a possibility too. And they like literally wiped them away from history. Not only their lands, but I don't know. You could always go down that route. Like I said, anything's possible now, dude. We've talked to so many people and looked at so much stuff. Anything's possible in our world, I think, here in the Iowa Talk Guys podcast.
oh yeah, oh yeah. It looks like if they had so many other kind of technology, why not weapons, right? Because they speak about weapons being activated with mantras, with sounds, right? Levitation technology might have been absolutely possible. There are people who think
Yes, absolutely. Yep.
the gold veins that it finds, we find maybe they were the highways because of some levitation technology or kind of transport system, right? If we add it to all the Tartaria technology, the word Tartaria, I don't buy into that word Tartaria being the whole race around, right? For me, it would be more Atlantean technology, like remnants of Atlantean technology.
That perhaps sunk itself.
Yeah, or even this part could be part of Atlantis, but it's like now wastelands.
Yeah, there's who was that? Jimmy Corsetti. He was on Joe Rogan. He has his own YouTube. He theorizes that the Eye of the Sahara, that giant, um, whatever ancient architectural or whatever ruin out in this Sahara, that might have actually been Atlantis, and yeah, either some type of massive catastrophe happened or some type of super weapon was used against it. Who knows?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It's very famous here, that one. They also spoke about a part of Spain. It's a, how do you say, it's a mangrove near the coastal area, right? And there were some investigations that also that was part of Atlantis, right? So there were different places and different researchers saying that this could be Atlantis, and what possibly could be also that all these places all was Atlantis, could be, and that they took themselves away and created us for this, how do you say, a barrier or a dome, or this all could be just technological stuff that looks very magical to us or very divine to us, right? There might be an upper beings that might be that divine, but could be possible that all these technologies that we are seeing and the manipulation of these controllers, as you mentioned before, might be trying to play gods.
Oh, there's definitely people that think they're playing God, and individuals, beings playing God. And I guess that would be, why would they want to lie to us about this? Like, what motivation would they really have? And let's just say, what if there are nowhere outer lands and it was just a singular dome? What motivation do you think they would have to lie to us about it? Just complete control?
Oh yeah, because it needs a lot of resource to have these areas patrolled, right? A lot, and there's a lot of exits and a lot of points, because if people understand that there is something that exists beyond what they are telling us, everybody wants to be an Indiana Jones. There will be many who are going to be wanting to be Indiana Jones, right? Go and explore.
Yeah, absolutely. But unfortunately, they pull Truman Show on us when they say, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" And I want to explore new lands. Like, nope, everything's already found. Sorry, too bad. That's taken.
I'm sorry, Truman. It's all already been explored.
And they don't want that. That's why they make it so difficult. That is the reason they have the Antarctica Treaty. And I have done podcasts. I don't know if I mentioned that, but this Antarctica Treaty is more than 500 years old. And we can see that on the Monte Urbano map, how these things are divided. The only thing is we have to look with a magnifying glass, because it's in Latin and it's in very small words. There are even details about people and what kind of people were living on this, at least the near part of these extra lands. And these people, they don't want us near there, right? And if anybody reaches there, the controllers here, at least this part of the places of the controller, needs to answer them. They don't want anything from us. Why? Because maybe we guys are too contaminated for them, right? So there are a lot of information the ancients have left for us in maps, in scripts, in many things, in statues, in archaeology, in the stars, in the maps, right? The star maps, the constellations. A lot of thing is decoded in these ancients have done in hieroglyphics, and just goes on.
Well, it was interesting that you brought up the Antarctic Treaty, because most of our podcast, actually a lot of it, is geopolitics, is what we talk about, that the state of the world, what's going on. And Theo and I were literally talking before this show started about the Antarctic Treaty, and it's like, here's the game that I don't understand being played. This is the only treaty that Russia and China and the U.S. they all have in common. All that, the UK and all them. So if they are getting ready to wage another world war, I don't understand why they're still continuing to keep these types of peace treaties. Same
Absolutely,
thing with the
brother.
internet. Same thing with the International Space Station shit, right?
Absolutely. Exactly.
Amen. Amen.
Why the deception in these two plays, right? And the rest is all a movie, right? It's for the people,
Right.
right?
But it's unfortunately a movie where people are fucking dying, right? In real life. And it's just
Exactly.
terrible.
Exactly. Because they are creating that by in every way possible. It's working for them in that sense, and people have to be too asleep or indoctrinated to not see that. No, why they don't have any problem in the space and in the treaty, right? And
Right.
are they gonna really allow everybody to have that space if there was that technology existed? No way, right?
Yeah, that doesn't compute in my brain, but I'm just a simpleton from Iowa in America, and we keep it simple here. I'm a simple man.
As I said, brother, we everybody the whole we don't have to be genius to see this, right? This is the best part, that it's so obvious. They are balancing their, right. If we speak about the light and the dark, right, it's equally being manifested, right? And on the playing field, everybody has the same chance. It's what we create out of it, right, as a collective.
Yeah, the choices that you make, and but there's other choices that are made for you that are out of your decision, and people have to make that choice to take that step forward and want to look into this stuff and learn something about it, because you can lead a horse to water, you can't make him drink. That's another reason why Theo and I wanted to do a podcast, because we were really tired of just trying to talk to our friends and stuff and family around us, because they're like, you guys are complete morons.
Yeah, you're out of line.
We love you, but you're idiots. And
Yeah.
go. So we're like, all right, let's not talk to people that aren't ready to wake up. Let's just make a show, get it out there, and people that are ready to wake up. I mean, not all of our friends are like that. Some of our friends, some of our good friends, and some of them, they're good listeners, because they're awesome badasses. Yeah, they're like, hell yeah, dude. No, you guys are talking my jam here.
Yeah. And we're missing our brother E-Rock tonight. He's an irreplaceable part of this podcast that we do. And he's a rock star as well. So that's part of the reason that he's not here tonight. But yeah.
You all of you three guys are brother, because it's gonna be for the people. People who resonate will get the message, and we think, we speak, we do, right? That's the order. So you guys are giving that part where the people can think. Even if we make up few people or 100 or 200 or whatever in the future, that's the fire of truth we are spreading, right? So absolutely, guys.
Yeah, and that's all we want to do. And when we're learning more too as we go, right? We've said it ourselves before. Hey, we've been wrong before, so there's and condemnation before investigation is the height of all ignorance is one of our mottos here on the show. And so yeah, like I said, we're always willing to talk to anybody about it, pretty much anything.
I kind of wanted to add to what you had mentioned earlier about, the light and the dark. And it's it really it does boil down to that, in choosing the light. And I know that from our perspective, I know I can speak for TP here. But we believe the light is the Christ. That's our source. That's what we believe in, and not deviating from that. But it's really interesting to watch that as well here in the States and see how a lot of people seem to kind of have it wrong, and they ignore the word as well. So,
But I mean, who are we to judge on who has it wrong and who has it right?
no,
You know what I mean?
no.
And that's the great thing about at the current state of time that we are living in our country. We're not being forced to worship any other type, we can worship whoever we want in that manner, right? Unfortunately, there's some countries that they don't have that opportunity, and some countries they live in, they don't have the opportunity to even look into anything different. You hear about survival stories from people that got out of North Korea, and it's just crazy. It's madness. It's a type of living we can never understand, a type of brainwashing, social brainwashing that we couldn't comprehend probably. You know what I mean? Just living there the way we all grew up.
Oh yeah, the majority, bro. The majority of the mass is it's not easy, right? Life, as you guys mentioned, it's different rules, different way. Yeah, and yeah, the truth is, wherever we are, whatever we believe in, I think it's all the same. That the root information is the same for that is a created, it's an intelligent design, right? Even though we are maybe manipulated, but the real source of this amazing realm, right, is
Yeah, we
in
we can
us,
definitely
right?
agree. There's an intelligent designer, and that is another thing they want to keep the truth away from us, and why they lie about all this other stuff happening, right?
Absolutely, they want us to believe that all this happened by accident with a big bang and from a like amoeba to right all the way to reaching as human to the space. Yeah, it's why
Which,
isn't it? Yeah, go ahead, guys.
which by the day, they keep finding out that the theories, once again, all of those theories that we've learned throughout our lives, throughout the 20th century and the 21st century now, have been absolute bullshit. And scientists are scrambling to find other explanations. Why? Because everything that we've been taught in this age, in this generation, has just been bullshit.
Oh yeah, the theory of evolution or the Stone Ape theory, right? Just
Yeah,
because
you already said it, brother. You already said it, brother.
Yeah, like it was a Jesuit priest that came up with the Big Bang theory too. So like, everybody's in on this. It's like Santa Claus. Everybody's in on it, and that's like, I don't know. Did we talk to you about that? That's like one of the first forms of like brainwashing that you get as a child. Is if you're good, some fat ass that rides a sleigh with deer flying him is gonna put presents under this tree. But if you're bad, you're not getting anything.
oh yeah, absolutely, because they're telling us a kind of truth in a different way, right? Sound Santa Claustrum. It's a part of the brain, right? If we don't fast 3 days a month when the moon is in our star sign, you get cold, which is a black matter which doesn't allow the oil within, the oil, the anointment, the Leo, the oil, the Christos, the oil, it won't come up. They are twisting the truth and telling it in a different way, right? But there is truth to that, but it's taken out of context, all right, of what is the real teachings and what should be we follow. What is it trying to say to us, right? To find the
Yeah.
Christ within, to find the Christ within, right?
Well, and they twist everything too, though. Then they try to make Christmas the day of Christ's birthday, which when you really dig into it, he was most likely actually born around September 11th, and so that's just another part of the elites. I call it their black magic. It's a joke, but at the same time, it's really what it is, I think. But of like manipulating things and twisting it so you don't know what the truth is. They don't want us knowing any of the truth. Like they're just sick, twisted bastards, and I really believe that they're in communion with fallen angels and just dark spirits. The light and the darkness. They're definitely in communion with the darkness.
Exactly, because it's the frequencies of lower and higher frequencies that are having wars, right? That's what is all the constellation and astrology is all about, and astronomy is all about. And the people who understand that, those points, those equinoxes, those solstices, those Passovers, those springs, those equinox during the Christmas, they are twisting it, but they understand and they use it in their favor to make things happen, even though if it's the darkest, because they understand that knowledge or science, we could call it, because astronomy, astrology is not magic, it's science, right? And even the Bible speaks about the angels, right? Angles, right? The angles of these luminaries on a particular day is what matters. Those are the angles. If we see a birth chart, it's like a wheel, the wheel of Ezekiel, if you want to call it, or the Jacob ladder, right? So that wheel have all those constellations and luminaries moving, and the angles between them decides what's going to happen. That's the dial of destiny. When we are born, every luminary that is in a particular place, including our sun, works as a time machine dial, right? And from there, they can tell the whole prediction, right? So all these stars and luminaries and how they function and all these cardinal points and these people, this is ancient knowledge, which has been demonized now or called as magic or superstition, so that we don't understand it, we don't use it. There's nothing wrong to understand what the creator have created for us, including the sun and the moon.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to my cousin about this the other day. We're like grounding, taking your shoes off and going outside, walking around the grass, doing, doing gardening or whatever, getting your hands dirty in the soil. That, I used to think that was like some hippie hocus pocus bogusness. But turns out, it makes a difference and you feel great after doing it. You legitimately tell a difference the first time after you do it.
Going out and getting into my garden on my hands and knees after work every day is one of my favorite things to do out in the sun.
And but you're taught, they're taught that in churches and stuff, like, oh, that's hippie bogusness and don't do that. That's but there are certain things, dude, that I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna leave that off of YouTube. That certain clubs, there's certain clubs and like certain universities that make you do stuff, and there's certain things I wouldn't do.
Well, if I may, real quick, there was a documentary that I saw on YouTube one time, and it was about a guy named, it's got to still be on YouTube. It's about a guy named Aleister Crowley. And he knew all sorts of stuff about darkness and summoning forces of darkness. In fact, when you were speaking about the pyramids earlier, Vika, I wanted to say something about how he had actually made it into the Pyramid of Khufu in the chamber and did occult ritualistic ceremonies to summon dark spirits and energy. So there's got to be something to all of this. That there's a reason that incredibly influential people like that, if you would like to watch the basic documentary on them, there's a reason they know about this stuff, and they try to keep it from us, if you will.
Oh yeah, brother. These people knew that is the reason why these people can unalive thousands and millions of people, and nothing happens to them. They freaking live more than anybody else, right? What's happening? God isn't there, or the Creator isn't taking these people into account.
Oh,
Incidents.
he
Yeah,
will
go ahead.
analyze their heart. He will analyze their heart. That's something that we believe, at least here on the podcast. But their heart will be examined.
Oh yeah, and these guys who the Soros and the Rothschilds and all these guys, they're living 100, 200, almost 20, 30 years, being one of the most crazy people who have manipulated things that involves so many lives, right? Uncountable, right? Why don't things happen to them? Why? Because they understand the game of light and dark, right? But this is the thing, yeah. I don't know if you guys think. What about you? Let's speak about. You guys believe that this place could be a simulation, right? A lot of things out about being this whole place being a simulation.
It is a possibility. A simulation. I mean, it could be a simulation within a simulation. Who knows? Maybe the Matrix is a real thing, right? Like I said, the point that we're at with our show, like I said, with research and stuff and talking to people is just, I'm not quite sure what even to believe, but anything is really possible.
Oh yeah.
I would like to add that even from a Christian perspective, that makes sense that this is a simulation, because these three dimensions that we live in, this flesh and blood, and you'll hear the Bible talk about that a lot, is, do not give into the flesh. But this is not what we are bound to. This is not what we were originally created and intended for. There is more to our existence. There is more consciousness. There is a oneness consciousness with our Creator and His will and His understanding and the light, if you will.
And to piggyback off that real quick, yeah, I do believe in inner dimensions, so I guess this would be a simulation, because I truly believe in different realms and different dimensions that are within our realm that we live in now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Maybe we have to, maybe it's a part of that we have to go to this test so that the Creator can experience this. This might just be a dream. This might just be an illusion, right? And it's possible to feel that this is just a time period that we need to pass through to experience the spirit and the physical mind or whatever we want to, that in this we are here, right? There is a possibility to experience that, if we want to call it immortality or part of fractal that we are of that divine, can be experienced, right? And once we experience that, we realize that we are part of that creation and we are here just for the time being in this maya, if we want to call it, or illusion, because there are cosmologies which says that is an illusion. A matrix is a scientific word. A simulation might be just a more scientific term of the same thing called illusion, right? This might, as you mentioned about the Bible too, right? Don't fall for it, right? This is not the eternal reality. This might just be a dream.
A trap. It's a test. Our hearts will be examined. Do we choose holiness? Do we choose the light? Do we choose the Creator? And while loving the people of this world and being joyful in this world, we turn our back on the desires that are created of it, and we choose our Creator's consciousness. We choose His will.
Yeah, and a lot of people are worshiping creature rather than creator,
Idols.
the image instead of the hand. You know what I'm saying?
We're not
Yeah.
here to impress. This is just our position. This is what we believe, and we just appreciate the conversation, Vikka.
Oh yeah, brother. Same here, and same for the people who are listening, right? It's, we are resonating with what we feel, what we think, right? And I believe we are what we think. So absolutely, there shouldn't be a limit to anything. So why a limit to the creator, right? Absolutely. So I
Oh
wanted
yeah.
to ask you guys, have you heard about the final experiment or something that these people are going to Antarctica?
The final experiment in Antarctica?
Yeah, these people are trying to go, like some pastor is trying to, how do you say, finance a trip to Antarctica because they believe there is a 24-hour sun, right? And there are flat earthers who believe that it's not possible. So, right, have you guys heard anything about that? No.
No, is it an American guy? I have to ask.
Well, yeah, I have not heard of that, but I have heard of other countries working on artificial suns. But yeah, I haven't heard about the missionary trip to Antarctica.
Yeah, that's wild.
No, they wanna take one flat earther and one globe earther to go and make this observation, right? So if they see a 24-hour sun, they believe that it's a globe, right? And flat earthers also believe maybe not that it's a globe, but right. So there is some. I think it's gonna be a hit piece there. To globers have always fabricated shit, like with all their how do you say, contra research against flat earth, like they did few experiments. This all made up shit. So they might also do a made up shit, as you mentioned, brother, with the sun simulator. These people have amazing technology already,
That
more
they
than we
hide
could
from
imagine.
us. That they hide from us on a regular basis, by the way. But sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, that's it. Like, this is the thing: artificial sun, eclipse on demand. They have technology. If they can modify weather and do stuff that we cannot imagine, they're already 25, 30 years or more ahead in advanced technology.
Yeah, yeah. The U.S. has already used weather modification to wage war in Vietnam, and you try to talk to people about that.
Cambodia.
Yeah, you Ho Chi Minh Trail. You try to talk to people about that, they're like, "Oh, that's conspiracy theory." I'm like, "No, once again, that's an uncomfortable truth. This is shit that really happened."
And the CIA did it.
And guess what? Just coming up now, it's coming up through the Bahamas. The first hurricane of the season. Hurricane season barely just started. It's, apparently, the first hurricane coming towards the U.S. in Central America since 1933. Weird number. But the first one is like Beryl, and then the second one coming behind it's like Chris, and yeah, on their way right now. Supposedly near Cuba or something, I think.
Yeah,
By the
and
time you listen to this, it's probably either in Cuba or past it. At least Beryl is.
in the sky in Iowa is always laced with trails from airplanes. Let's just say that. It's weird. They're everywhere. It's like more of them than not.
Well, they're not even lying about the cloud seeding anymore. Like, yeah, this is the thing we're doing, and
Yeah, they're doing it in the UAE.
when they also have people like Bill Gates talking about, well, we can use this to block the sun to stop greenhouse gases and global warming and shit. That's where it's going to lead to. And people are going to be like, what are you, some type of eco freaking terrorist? You don't want the sun blocked?
The light.
Look how bad it is for your skin. This is why. That's the other biggest lie that they've told us, that the sun is bad for us. Yeah, it makes everything else around us grow and be alive, but it's harmful to us. Okay, to an extent. But really, do you think the sun's causing skin cancer, or maybe the chemicals that people are pouring on their face all the time causing the skin cancer?
Exactly, and
Go ahead, bro.
Oh.
Sorry.
no, and that's it. Also, the technology and the radiation, right? And they could be also, as you guys mentioned, like with the trails and all this stuff. Most could be also for some kind of uh, technology that they want to hide or create some holographic, uh, the Blueprint project, or just project ISS from
Yes,
maybe
yes.
here and there sometime, or right. It's they're creating a screen because don't you guys see the sun very strange?
Dude, there's my buddy witnessed it and he sent me the picture. It literally looked like, you know how that you get that rainbow glare, sun glare off of oil if you see it on like pavement. You've seen that before, right,
Oh
Vikka?
yeah, oh yeah. I have a few of them also.
So he sent me a picture where he saw this and that's what it looked like in the sky. There was no blackness, it was just the rainbow, but it looked like all oily in the sky. I was like, what? And apparently people there tried to tell him it was a sundog. And I was like, no, that's not a sundog. That's like a blotch of like light or a rainbow glare. But this was like a streak across the sky of oily looking rainbow.
Oh yeah, I have seen also few here, and also you can see it around the sun behaving weird, right? Uh, Creating crazy flares and colors. It's not normal. It looks very white. I don't know. It's crazy because there are sunrises that it's almost white. Like it's not even for 3 4 minutes. It's orange and then it's white, literally.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely not the sun or the sky I remember growing up. It's been always a hazy, really hazy on the horizon now, and I don't ever remember it being this bad. And we don't live in a big area where there's a bunch of pollution. We're out in the middle of nowhere, literally. Right now, we're in a shack in the middle of a cornfield.
Oh yeah, so they can absolutely do some kind of a blue beam project, and they might be preparing for something like this because people are waking up a lot, a lot. TikTok is going crazy.
Yeah, I think Project Bluebeam is going to be a large part in this. And I was just having a discussion with my brother yesterday, and I was talking about, don't forget DARPA had that on the cutting board for the invasion of Iraq in 2003 to have a hologram of Muhammad in front of these cities that the Marines were about to be coming up against to tell them to put down their arms and try to surrender and all this other stuff, right?
That's wild.
Yeah, so I really think that they've been prepping the public, the not just American public, but all the first world countries, third world countries. Everybody knows what a gray alien is nowadays. Um, I think they're prepping us for a fake alien invasion, personally.
Oh yeah, because they don't have any more card left. They are literally telling her with that Illuminati game, right? There will be time there will be no card left with politics or control or division or uh, FF, right? All the FF they do, right? So there gonna be time where they have to start playing. They have turned the humanity into such fools and stupid that the people are going to believe. We knew what happened in 2019, right? Many bought into it. So they are just making tests and tests until say now is the time. It's so indoctrinated the masses that you can throw anything and they will fight between themselves and destroy themselves into saying this is this or this is not that or right. Crazy stuff.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely. It's wild times we are living in. And like I said, this things have been being prepped for this for a long, long time. Well before we were all born. Guarantee it.
Yeah, and over here in the States, it's like they have a lot of people in this, and I can speak for myself that you have to really try to be conscious to stay out of it and away from it. But it's this very materialistic and consumerist, like I was saying earlier, fleshly sort of draw. And hey, for this financing rate, you can get this brand new vehicle, and it's shiny and it's new. And guess what? You're enslaved to this debt for like 7 years. You have to just keep it. And then you also have this nice shiny house, right? Perhaps it's even new, and they try to enslave you because, that's always on your mind when you're thinking about stuff like that.
Well, yeah, and we're literally having a time right now in the economy where people that were mentally enslaved in that manner, that's all they have, and then all of a sudden they're getting laid off at their big salary jobs, and they don't think there's any other options, so they're literally like committing suicide, or can't say that word. They're putting themselves to sleep. They're,
Yeah, there's actually a silent epidemic in the United States right now.
Yeah, and it's terrible, and it's like, man, it's like there's more to life than your crazy your freaking job and your Lamborghini and your materialistic stuff or whatever. Like, yeah, if you have the money to do that and you can do that, but you're good for you. But as long as you're not like mentally enslaved to that lifestyle, these people are leaving families behind because they think they have no other option after they get laid off. They're so embedded in the matrix, right? It's like a simulation within a simulation, essentially. Like we were kind of talking about, kind of like Jen Psaki back around to that. But it's really an interesting time that we're having and that we were witnessing with this stuff now.
Oh yeah, brother, the system is designed in that way that it cannot be mended, right? It cannot be positive, right? When we sign those mortgage, we are signing our life there. That's a slave contract, right? As you guys said, there's so much of land and resources. People can have free land, people can have food, space, and everything, and energy, but they want the people to go pay off their life for 300 feet to 500 feet by 500 feet of piece of land, right?
Yeah. They put the stake in their mouth just like that dude did in the Matrix. Ignorance is bliss. That's they choose to want to stay plugged into that system. And it's crazy. It's crazy to me.
Exactly. That's why nobody wants to cross the line, brother. Many don't want to cross the line because there's so many things on stake.
Yeah, because they've been, like I said, going back to they've been brainwashed from the very beginning of Santa Claus, the Tooth Fairy. Hell, at the schools they do that shelf or elf on the shelf thing. Oh, but it's Christmas magic, right? They get you prepped for the rest of your life to believe any horse crap that that they bring your way. And even like the U.S. debates, we just had the U.S. presidential debates. What an absolute joke! No live audience. Like that thing, it had to have been rigged. Once again,
A TV show, an illusion.
reality television, an illusion. Um, it's ridiculous. In politics, that's all it's ever become in our country, and I think in a lot of other countries too, is just reality television, and it's sickening.
Oh yeah, programming, brother. Programming. It's a program that is being broadcasted, right? Dispelled. So
Over the airwaves, and who's the prince of the power of the air, right?
oh yeah, I'm gonna give a quick shout out to people in the chat, and just also wanted to mention something before we continue this awesome conversation. We still have 30 minutes. I'm gonna give a quick shout out in the chat. Serene Hamilton is with us. John Spark, Tony Coriolis, hey brother, and then we have Seven Lucas, and Doctor Frankenstein is also there with us. Ironworks, big shout out, my brother. And then we've got here Mike Zudnik. I saw him before. Is also there. No longer on a ball. Elden Bean. And yeah, Tony Coriolis and Ironwork. Brother, the group is growing amazing. Also for the people who are listening or going to watch this later, and also for our brothers here from Iowa Talk, guys, I'll mention that we have started a project. We have started a group on Telegram. We are going to be trying to make a model based out of the Antikythera mechanism, and we are getting together people who are interested to make this happen. And we have a Telegram group on that. We are only looking for people who are serious, who wants to support this project in any other way. Because we have few different options. We are already shared few things in those chats, and we are there looking for schematics and possibly to print, laser cut, assemble different options. So yeah, it's slowly but steadily that group is going on. We are around 70 members, but serious people. And as I mentioned, that group is not for sharing any memes. That group is not for sharing or promoting anything else. That group is only for the Antikythera mechanism project and updates and communication about the project. So anybody who is listening and is interested, DM me or look for it on Telegram. You're gonna find that group. And yeah, we want to do a change. We want to bring a change. We believe that the Antikythera mechanism is our model, which has been given to us by these amazing ancients, as we mentioned before in our conversation, that if they were so amazing in every aspect of engineering and science and maths, and so they were much more beyond to have this kind of device 2000 years ago, a gear technology working and telling us the real observations, what's happening in the sky, a planetarium from 2000 years ago, and we are trying to make this for us So yeah, just wanted to give that shout out.
Vika, if I may.
Yeah, brother, go ahead.
So recall, I can't remember how old it is. Thousands of years old. Thousands of years before Christ on our calendar. The Chinese fabricated a what do you call it? The
Compass.
yeah, it's a compass, and there's a ball that rests at the top and center of this thing, and it's a seismograph. It can sense earthquakes that we can't even feel, but it's got north, south, east, west, and it will fall. The ball will fall in the direction of an earthquake sensed. This thing is
Wow.
thousands of years old.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's
Oh yeah.
wild. That's wild. But hey, shout out to everybody in the chat too. Yeah, we don't mean to be rude. Sorry, this is our first time being live, so it's awesome. I noticed. I just want to say something. I was looking while you were doing the shout out. Ironworks here said they even go as far as to track Santa on NORAD. These people are unreal. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Like they'll do all this crazy stuff on the television, you know, and it's really it blows your mind just how indoctrinated they want to start you off at such a young age. But yeah, hey, we appreciate everybody listening to us. If you want, we have a YouTube as well, Iowa Talk Guys podcast. You can go over there and give us a follow if you'd like. We really appreciate it. Share and subscribe.
Oh
All
yeah.
that fun stuff. Yeah, so thanks again for this opportunity, brother. And yeah, this conversation has been awesome so far. Too bad we only have a half hour left, but yeah, we're gonna make the most of it. So
This is a tremendous honor. I mean, just to be frank.
Oh, absolutely, brother. The pleasure is ours. Our community, yeah, for sure. There are more people going to be watching it at the video later. Guys, subscribe to Iowa Talk, guys. You can find the link. I have the page link here, but even if you just put Iowa Talk, guys, you're going to find the channel here on YouTube also. But as I said, on Spotify, on an independent platform, their own page, Podbean, Apple Music, it's everywhere. Just put in Iowa Talk, guys. You're gonna find everything. These guys have the amazing podcasts and shows and guests. So do that,
You're being
guys.
you're being way too kind, brother. You're being way too kind, brother.
no, he's right. We have awesome guests. That's what we got. We had Vikka on. We're on Vikka's show now. So yeah.
Number 100.
Yeah, no, dude. So this is awesome. Yeah, dude. Like I said, we focus mostly on geopolitics and stuff, but we have a show. We're doing the same thing Vic is trying to do here. We're searching for the truth, and we're trying to add value to people's lives. So, yeah, I'm gonna have to go check out that Telegram you were talking about, man. That's awesome. I didn't know you had that going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We'd love to have you guys there too. If you guys want, I'll send you the link on Instagram so you guys can join directly. That would be awesome.
Yeah, dude. I'd really appreciate that. That'd be super awesome, dude.
Please do. Please do.
Oh yeah, and our idea is to take all this research of this past decade that the flat earthers are doing to a next level. We are like enough of the debating with the globers, with the here and there, and also with different opinion even within the community, right? So because I believe that this was the real thing that was used in universities and education centers before they brought this globe into being. That's why the astronomy is really important to understand where we live in. Because for me, flat around, we don't have to prove. Sorry, the water doesn't curve, the land doesn't curve. We don't see it, we don't feel it. We cannot uh, see or measure the rotation, right?
Yeah, all that's same thing with the the climate change thing, like the sea levels are rising and all this stuff and everything, like it's just all of it's horse crap. And with the flat Earth, dude, yeah, there's more questions that I have than I think I can get answers with certain things. But for the most part, like I said, I definitely know it's not a globe, and I'm speaking for myself. And I don't know how Iraq feels, but we being lied to. And if you're an American, I mean, any first world country that has a space program, now you know, like once you start digging into this, that we've been wasting. They've been taxing us to death forever and wasting billions and billions of dollars a year on what?
Planets, brother, planets are billions of light years away. Nobody can verify it. The black hole, the dark matter, the dark energy, nothing is verifiable, right? That is where they are saying, doing their science. As you mentioned before, in the space, they're doing Santa thing. They're playing there in their fake ISS. It's just to take all this real money and put into stuff that we shouldn't be aware of. All their black projects or other projects, or creating another place for them underneath outer lands, right? Everything is possible. Technology that these people might have, aerial technology, genetic engineering, gear technologies, right? Levitation. It's just endless, right? These people want to believe uh, that the majority believe in this globe and gravity and be limited to what they can do, right? Electromagnetic levitation, sound levitation, the vimanas, all this technology, free energy, everything just blows out of the lid if we understand that this realm is not a ball, it's not a heliocentric model. Tesla speaks about what is this earth. This earth is a generator, it's a rotor, it's a machine, it's an AC motor which works as a negative and positive. The earth, the battery, the water. We could just go on. The nature, the science, the instruments only work on a geocentric flat Earth, guys. There is no question. I'm not trying to flashback you guys, but yeah, you're never gonna find the proof of a globe. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I absolutely I agree with that. That's all the ancients knew it.
I believe that Tesla also said that Jesus knew the source of the light, and he knew the way to the light.
Oh yeah, and the AC motor doesn't work also, because he understood what the realm is and he tried to put it in the scientific way so that the people understand. Nothing of his technology cannot work on a globe, on a moving globe. Even if you take the radars, the radio technology, right, the AC motor, uh, that's the understanding of how this realm works that got
Yeah,
into that real science. Yep.
and I learned a lot from your mechanical the mechanical realm documentary that you made about the electromagnetic. The ancients knew this. The people that built these magnificent freaking structures, even some of the dome structures, and we call them capitol buildings and stuff nowadays. They understood this stuff to a degree that we are we were mentally enslaved, and cutting stones, all that stuff, dude. And they all, we talked to a guy that he wrote a book, and he ended up getting the book got banned from the library that he wrote it in about this courthouse.
He's from Iowa.
Yeah, he's
an
from
author
Iowa.
from Iowa.
Yeah.
And it's a courthouse in Iowa.
Yeah, and the history doesn't line up. And all he does is point out basically like this doesn't make sense. These guys are contradicting themselves, and it's more the more you dig in, just even and that's on a local level. This guy was at a local, middle of nowhere Iowa, and just started digging into the history of this courthouse in his town, and uncovered a bunch of crazy stuff that nobody wanted to face this uncomfortable truth that he had just put in front of their faces.
Castle on the Prairie. Right?
Castle in the pasture.
Castle in the Pasture. The Strange Story of the Grundy County Courthouse.
Yeah.
Check it out. You can get it on Amazon, I believe.
Yes.
Wow.
And it's just You can find out for yourself in your own hometown all the things that you've been lied to. Everybody's been lied to about that. It's insane. Why do they want to keep doing this?
John Butler is the author there.
Awesome. So this is the thing. There are, as you guys mentioned, there are every places around. Have so many things, so many mysteries, right? You guys also heard about there are shapes of the Colorado. It looks like Sphinx and crazy stuff, right?
Yeah. I mean, and then also evidence in southwest Colorado of rather complex ancient civilization. The Mesa Verde National Park is one place. Cliff dwellings and whatnot. Vika, do we still have you?
Oh yeah, I'm here. I'm listening.
I wasn't aware of any sort of Sphinx revelation in Colorado. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, there are some people believe that there was similar structure or architecture, Egyptian type, even in that part of the earth.
In southern Colorado, more like southwest, you'll find great sand dunes. I believe it's national park or national monument. But yeah, people actually get lost there every year. It's in Colorado because they just wander out and there's so much sand and it's so vast that they lose track of where they're at and don't vanish, but they find them later.
Oh yeah, and this is the thing. Also, the giants, right? A lot of thing also going around with giants. So these places, people disappearing, and there could be a lot to it, right? Recently, I was speaking to somebody who was like so keen about this Kandahar giants. What do you guys think about giants?
Oh yeah, they. I believe they walk this earth. I believe there's a lot of stuff that they haven't told us. And I think the Smithsonian is responsible for hiding a lot of giant skeletal remains that happened here in America, that they found here in America, and we even mentioned something about that in our show in one of our talks about how Abe Lincoln himself had a speech about Niagara Falls and mentioned the giant bones and remains that they found in the mountains in America.
Keep in mind also that the explorations that Thomas Jefferson was responsible for after the Louisiana Purchase, with Lewis and Clark previously mentioned, were they were perhaps expecting to see woolly mammoths and whatnot roaming the land. They thought that perhaps these animals were still out there in this vast wilderness.
Oh yeah, absolutely possible. Absolutely, and the giants have been mentioned in all cosmologies, all of them. We did one of them each podcast, maybe some up to 3 hours on each cosmology, and most of them speaks about giants, these gods, some of them being giants, and
Godlike, right?
exactly, and even yeah, go ahead.
Oh, they like offspring of, my personal opinion, interdimensional beings is where I think this bloodline came from. I think it has something to do with the DNA. Like it's embedded.
You're saying Book of Enoch type stuff, right, TP?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's also possible that some cosmology speaks about that we are not giants and we live 100 years, as you guys mentioned, because of some genetic engineering. That is the reason. And the giants could go up to 1,000 years because just because of their size or the way they were built. Like if you are huge, might be possible that you could live for longer. So there are some cosmology which point out to that the further you go away from the center, no, there's some maths like it's called 100 years. Like an average, we humans are 100 years, right? Before maybe it was 500 years.
120. And in fact, that's what the Bible says too, right? 120 years.
Yeah, and in Himalayas there are some can live up to 140.
Yeah,
There are some tribes.
Give or
Yeah,
take, right? It's not
yeah,
literal necessarily.
exactly. So the further we go out, according to some cosmology, there are giants, and these people could live up to 1,000 years because of their sizes, right? And we also have, like for example, giant people. Even now in this age, they call it as a sickness or something, but it's possible to see people who are really huge. Why then? It's not possible that there was people who were three sizes.
Well, I personally think that these, because of genetics, what we know, especially what we know about them nowadays, yeah, these people, they didn't have, it wasn't a deformity of the genetic gene. It was, they were like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but they were like 20 feet tall type giants. And they depict a lot of that in ancient Egypt on the hieroglyphics, which turns out, if you do a deep dive into that, turns out a lot of Egyptology is just straight bullshit. But they say, oh, they depicted the giants as royal. They wanted them to see that they were above the people and stuff. That's why they put them in there as giants. Well, then they also show hieroglyphics of these giants carrying blocks and building things with them. So were they royals or were they slaves? Why would a royal carry blocks to help out the construction of stuff? You know what I mean? It's just it's like contradiction to itself. And real quick, side note, hey Ironworks, I saw you said in the chat that you couldn't find that book. The book is called, once again, Castle in the Pasture: Strange History of a Courthouse by John Butler. And it's like $20. It's up on Amazon. I just checked; it's still on there. So just double check that again, and you can check out our episode that we did with him and stuff too.
John Butler, yeah.
Yeah.
I also would like to add, if I may,
Yeah.
that what makes us, human, programmed, our DNA, it's more complex than anything that humans can replicate. There's nothing like it that we can do. But it is what makes us human. It is our programming, and it is what makes us uniquely able to achieve that God consciousness, to achieve that plane.
Well, and that's another, real quick, that's just another fun lie that they like to tell us, how closely we are related to chimps or apes in the on the genetic realm. But turns out, like, we have maybe 9 similar markers out of the millions and millions that we have. Like, it's absolute bullshit.
No, we are meant and designed to seek the light, to achieve that, if you will.
Oh yeah, and it could be vice versa. It could be that from our genetics it was taken and these animals were made. Why not? It's possible, right? Why is it the other way? Right? How
what if all these mythical creatures that they have stone carvings of and all this stuff actually existed at one time? They're once again just lying to us about it, because these were genetic manipulations of an advanced race splicing together animal shit.
Absolutely. And dragons. Go ahead, brother.
Well, and TP has sort of enlightened me as well. Like if we look into the historical context of the Old Testament of the Bible, um, perhaps uh, the Hebrews were God's chosen people to slay these, to try to protect the bloodline, if you will. These ancient stories tell us of um, tainted bloodlines of, from watchers and whatnot, and maybe this is ancient story, an ancient story of how that was to be cleansed, sort of, for this modern age.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother. Because it looks so sometimes artificial and made up that so many things are happening in this 50 100 years, right? It's absolutely possible that this whole race might be just a controlled way of technology being used and as organic technologies, right? As I mentioned, also a lot of time I do mentions like this realm is mechanical, right? We are mechanics, right? This realm works on the law of mechanics, right? Everything works as a system, right? What are we? Well, we are robots, kind of robots, right? But with flesh and blood. But we are like robots, the animals, the insects, right? This whole realm, everything is moving, right? Quite
Yeah,
absolutely.
not moving in the way that they say is like thousands of miles around the sun and 66,000 miles around the Milky Way or whatever.
Yeah, 24,000
But it
miles
is
around the
moving.
equator.
I believe it's a clock. Like you've talked, you basically you had a lot of proof. I like to call it, proof or things that make you think in your documentary that it's a giant clock. The whole system's a giant clock. We're in this. There's something in the very center pointing north, a giant metal or iron, some type of giant magnetic island. I think the ancients called the Black Rock. But yeah,
Exactly.
there's something very special about the place that we live, and that what they're telling us is all a lie about it.
And then look at certain, what seem to be disclosures in modern culture, like you just said, the BlackRock. Well, look at this financial institution, BlackRock, in the world today. Look at how many assets they own, trillions upon trillions of dollars.
It's part of their black magic, dude.
And other financial institutions of the like that they are moving in unison with, and sort of like they're a cartel. And then also look at other means of disclosure through art, film, the Hunger Games. Like the second movie, I believe, was in, because my family has watched this movie, right? They like it. But the set, the dome that they have the Hunger Games in, is a clock. But it's like,
Doesn't she like shoot the dome out at the end?
yeah,
or something.
Yeah, that's right.
Spoiler alert.
But something that TP had told me about early on was how in our relationship, like at least with during the podcast, was that in the Old Testament of the Bible, the God says, the Lord says, I will not do anything without first telling my prophets. Well, if the source, if the creator spoke that, then it is. And that also means that is law. It also means that the adversary, the darkness, must follow this law. So they must disclose as well what they intend to do. But you have to have a keen eye, and you have to pay attention. And people are going to think you're weird. People are going to think that you're weird when you point it out. But there are no coincidences, folks. Everything has a meaning.
Oh yeah, I would absolutely agree to that. There is no coincidence, nor at a macro level, nor at a personal level. Everything is happening for a reason, right? Absolutely.
Man, this has just been a joy of a time, Vika. We can't thank you enough.
Oh, thank you for you guys for this amazing conversation, brothers. Yeah, just 2 hours is almost gone, and we are just getting warmed up, right? The whole rabbit hole of this North Pole and the Black Rock and the Rupus Nigra and the cosmic
Antarctica.
mounts. Exactly, and what else it could lead? What is it really playing that connects with the light and dark, right? The Saturn, uh, like we are all hexed in here, right? On the cube of Saturn, like many things. The dots just keeps connecting. For sure, we guys are gonna connect more dots in the future. That was amazing to have you guys here, and really thank you for your time, guys. And uh, last thoughts before we wrap it up, guys, or whatever you guys want to share.
Well, I just wanted to say that we have to make sure that we do this again, Vika. Whether it's you come on our show, we would love to have you again, or vice versa. You know,
I think we should try to do Vika's show again because I'm really enjoying seeing the chat and everything and hanging out. And
it's
pretty cool.
Yeah, we've never done the live. This is amazing. This has been such an incredible, unique experience for us. It's been humbling, and we're really blessed to have had the experience. But what I wanted to add to what you said just before this, Vika, was, you know, we've been talking about the light and the darkness, and that's also something unique about us as beings, is that we are uniquely positioned between those forces. We are the ones that sort of, I don't know how to say it, you know, have the choice in this realm. And it's, although it seems like the darkness is in control of things, a lot of the time the light will prevail.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely. Yeah. And the hope also, right? It's important, right? In a way, and effort also is important, brother, not to keep that thing going because it's so easy to get lost. It's so easy to get confused in this darkness because for sure they have a lot of upper hand on us as we the spreader of light, and that little light we have at a personal level that we want to share and with people we care and love, and that we want that at least some part of the light that people take. So absolutely, brother, we all have to keep that going, right? Even if it's that it's stays in this ether, these sound vibes, sound bites, you want to call it, right? It's gonna
That's right.
go as an algorithm. Yeah.
Take back the radio waves, man. Let's do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely, brother.
But hey, real quick, I want to say something too. Yeah, once again, shout out to your chat room. You guys are cool. It's been awesome reading your comments. And yes, Ironworks, we did see that giant dragon, inflatable dragon that was wrapped around the Empire State Building. Just more proof, letting you know that I think my personal opinion that that's who the dragon, the beast system is in control. They're just flashing it in front of your faces again. It's art nowadays, I guess they call that, right? But you can find us on Instagram at Iowa Talk Guys _podcast.
You can find us on X at Iowa Talk Guys.
You can find us on YouTube and Rumble at Iowa Talk Guys podcast, and you can find us at iowatalkguys.com. And we really, really appreciate you letting us come on here and hang out. We definitely got to do this again. We got more to talk about, dude. Like you said, we're just getting warmed up here. It feels like
we got days to talk about, Vika.
Oh yeah, I have shared your links of iowatalkguys.com. Even if people click that link in the chat, you're gonna find all the other links there too. So, and also try subscribe to the guys on YouTube so we can have some live also. And when these guys are live, so we can be there also with our amazing chat people there. So that would be great too. So click that link and follow these guys and all the platforms you are. So, brother Theo, brother TP, thank you so much for being here. For sure, would have been also amazing if Iraq with was here. So a big regards for our brother Iraq, even though he's not there. Maybe for the next time. But all I could say, it was pleasure, guys, to have you. And yeah, that, absolutely looking forward for more, brother, here or there. But yep, this should keep going, brother.
Definitely.
Let's do it.
Yeah, thank you again so much.
Absolutely.
This is awesome. We are going to be posting this on our show as well, so we'll put your link tree down there, and once again your links to both your Flatten the Curve and your the Mechanical Realm, because both I think are great documentaries, very important, and you hit a lot of spots that I think a lot of other documentaries and flat earthers are not hitting. So doing a great job, dude. Keep fighting the good fight. We appreciate this. We definitely, once again, yeah, we got to do it again, man. This is great.
Oh yeah, and same goes for you guys, man. Keep going, and yeah, this is what we all are for, to spread that fire, the kindle of fire and light. So yeah, so there you guys have it. Iowa Talk guys, follow them on every platform. Amazing stuff. You guys will be there for days, and whenever you are, you can just put it on as a radio podcast and listen while you're doing things. Amazing content, and it was such a pleasure to have these brothers here. As I said, I have a special love and energy for my brothers, right? So, yeah, we spread this,
Hey.
and thank you. Yeah, brother, go ahead.
Hey, bro, you got a minute for us when we wrap this up and just offline afterwards?
Oh, yeah, absolutely,
All
brother.
right. Right on. Thank you,
So-
everybody, so much.
All right, yeah. Once again, this is the Iowa Talk, guys. We really appreciate it, as we do on our show. We'll be signing off here. So Iowa Talk, guys, out.
Oh yeah, so there you have it, people. Iowa Talk guys, amazing show, amazing stuff. So thank you everybody for being here. This is the thing, for the next week we're gonna have some amazing content too coming. Gene will be back too. So this is because Draziv signing out, guys. Thank you, Theo, and thank you, TP, and thank you everybody who's in the chat. So see you next week. This is because Draziv signing out. See you soon. Bye, everyone.